First, let's open the file from your Project Files folder, navigate to Chapter 9, then double-click on the file, number 9, Advanced Type. In our first comp, number 1, Fonts and Range, you can type anything you want. Now with some type in our comp window, let's go ahead and open up the comp so we can see a little more of what's going on inside it. Next, we'll use Option / to bring the window down to the size of the frame. Remember, on a PC, you'll want to use Alt /. By now you know I want to close up all of these frames on the right-hand side. So we'll go ahead and close the frame for Info and Audio, close our time controls, and our effects and presets. We've just closed effects and presets, but you may want to use some of those effects. So to toggle the window open and close, let's use Command 5 or use Control 5 on a PC. This is going to bring up your effects and presets. Now, if you don't see the presets here in your list, click on the flyout menu to make sure that you show your animation presets here. If you want to browse your presets, you can browse them here, or you can browse them through the animation pull-down window. I'm not going to use the effects and presets panel, so I'll close this down using Command 5 or Control 5 again. Next, from the animation pull-down menu, once we click on Browse Presets, After Effects will take us directly into Bridge. Now here in Bridge, we're looking at all of the presets, not necessarily just the text presets. So in the folder for text, we'll find all of the different presets that we can use for text. Now there are several folders, and within each of the 17 folders, there are additional presets, which are basically just sets of keyframes that have been saved as an FFX file. Some of the more popular ones you'll notice. If we double-click on the folder called Animate In, you'll find many presets that you've seen in many different type animations. One popular one is Raining Characters. By clicking on the icon for the preset, Bridge will display a small preview playing the animation of the animation that preset will control. By clicking on the pause button, you can stop it, then use the slider to scrub the preset to see what happens during the course of the animation. If there's audio, we can toggle the audio on and off with the icon on the right-hand side. Next, you can check out some of these other folders, including expressions, which use expressions to drive the preset animations. A popular one here is the current time format. Using this effect will display the current time in your composition by using the text tool. If we navigate up again, we can check out some more of these, including graphical. In graphical, you'll find the scratchy film effect. Another very popular effect and very easy to achieve by simply applying the preset. The last one I'll point out in these folders is under Mechanical. Here under Mechanical, you'll find the underscore, and in the small preview window, you'll see the underscore actually types out the word with a small dash or underscore at the leading edge of your type. To apply any of these presets, it's fairly simple. Let's navigate back to Animate In. From this folder of presets, we'll want to apply Raining Characters. We'll use Command Tab or Alt Tab to get back to After Effects. Because we want to apply this to a specific layer of text, let's make sure that the layer of text is actually selected. So down in the timeline, we'll select the layer of text that we've just typed. Then we'll navigate back to Bridge and simply double-click Raining Characters. Remember, we're animating these in. Now, clicking and dragging in the timeline, you can see the animation as it's applied to your source text. In order to see the keyframes, we'll simply type U on the keyboard to reveal the offset animation that's going on inside of the preset. Let's open up the timeline a little bit more by zooming out, revealing the entire length of the timeline. Then we'll select all of the keyframes for offset by clicking on the word offset and simply drag these two keyframes back towards the beginning of the timeline. This way, the raining in starts to happen at the very beginning of our composition. With the cursor over the timeline, I'll use tilde on the keyboard so I can see all of the different parameters inside of this text effect. I'll simply twirl up the parameters, then open them up so I can see all of the different effects that are going on here. Here there's an animator and a range selector which control the raining in. We'll rename it by selecting it using return on the keyboard, then naming this rain in. We'll close this, then navigate down to 3 seconds. When we apply a preset, we're applying values that have been previously saved into an FFX file. Now, depending on how those files were saved, they may have animation keyframes in them, and the keyframes are going to be pasted in relationship to where your playhead is. So if the keyframes were saved at frame 0, the first keyframe will be pasted at the current point in time, and any other keyframes will be pasted with their relationships all preserved according to that first keyframe. In order to see how this works, let's first select the layer that we want to apply the effect to. Then under the animation pull-down window, we'll choose Browse Presets again. Again, we'll go into text, but this time we want to go to Animate Out. Additionally, we want to use Raining Characters Off, so we'll double-click this to apply it to our layer. Now we can see we have the old animator, Rain In, and our new animator, Rain Out. If we open up the animator here, called Animator 1, we can see that the keyframes are buried again under the range selector and are tied to the offset parameter. Let's rename Animator 1 to Rain Out. So I'll select it, then use Return on the keyboard and type Rain Out. Here we can see that when the preset was saved, the keyframes were set 1 second into the animation. When After Effects places these keyframes into our composition, it places them 1 second after the current point in time. Our current point in time is 3 seconds, so the preset pastes those keyframes 1 second from our current point in time, which is 4 seconds. In order to modify these, we can simply click on the word Offset to select all of the keyframes, then click and drag these back to our current point in time. Now we'll use the tilde key again to bring the timeline back down from full screen. By scrubbing in the timeline, we can see that the preset makes the characters rain in. Then, after they've rained in, the second preset applied makes all of the characters in our source text rain out. The last thing we may want to do to make this look a little more computer-like is to add a simple effect under color correction, Colorama. Colorama is going to use an input phase based on the intensity of the layers, but we don't want to use the intensity. Instead, we'll change our input phase to the alpha channel. Next, we'll close this and change our output cycle, and from the user palette preset, we'll simply choose Ramp Green. Now, scrubbing in the timeline, we can see that the characters start dark, and as they drop into position, they become bright green. Then as they go out again, they become dark again. A quick RAM preview shows what this animation might look like. We'll use Command 5 or Control 5 to open up our presets window one more time to talk about how we can apply these presets. Now again, we can go up to the frame and browse the presets here. Of course, we can also go up to the animation pull-down window as we have before and browse our presets this way. Last, we can always go up to the file pull-down and browse this way through the same presets. Now these are all going to take you to the same place, to Bridge, in order to view the preset library. And Bridge will allow you to see all the little preview movies that have been made to go along with those presets. Of course, if you just want to navigate to the Finder where your presets are located, you can do that as well.